Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity to share our data from different countries with you, politicians. It's very important that we join forces to change the course of history. I'm going to present some results, no difficult formulas or anything like that. If you can count deaths and if you can count vaccine numbers, vaccine injections that have been given, then you're able to understand what I'm going to present. This is about increase in all-cause mortality during vaccination campaigns as they do them in the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands we are lucky because they do all the vaccinations within a very short time. So if there's anything happening with regard to viability of people or death, then it will immediately surface. Now this is about, I will focus on 2022, and there is a reason for that. So first I would like to show you that two graphs here. The upper one is monitoring coronavirus in wastewater. And you see there are nice peaks. And what is below there is the number of elderly care homes that report that they have also corona infection. You see this is the same. So what we have in the Netherlands, we have an ongoing circulation with peaks of coronavirus. Does that cause mortality? No, not that much. So now I've look at the graph above. That is the mortality that you see in the elderly care homes. That's the red line. And the blue line is the one in the general population. And they have the same sort of dynamics. And you see actually in 2022, that's the right part of the graph, that there's almost nothing anymore. In the lower one, you see the orange line. That's again all these Omicron waves that we see. But in the blue line, that's the mortality in the care homes. It's almost nothing. Actually, what I've calculated there is the case fatality rate. It means that the chance that somebody who has a clinical infection in that care home, that he or she dies from that. That case fatality rate is now in the Netherlands below 1%, which means that actually we have something like what we call an endemic infection. And you can see it here. I mean, there are three groups of bars. Just focus on the x-axis, that's the age. So you see the distribution around the age of 75 years. And you see there the blue bars is actually the percentage of people in that age group that died with or due to corona. That's at the moment something like 1% of all mortality in each age group is due to or associated with corona. So actually, there's nothing going on in 2022 about corona. But then look at this. This is the mortality, all-cause mortality curves. And they've separated here three age groups. Look at the upper one. And there you see that there is this line in the middle with the sort of pink cloud around it. But above that is the actual number of deaths over the year. And you see this is a strange, wavery sort of pattern. And I want to know where that comes from. So we look at that. And so this is only 2022. And the upper one is the all-cause mortality. So the number of people that die per week. And you see there are strange waves. And the lower one is actually the vaccination campaigns in the Netherlands. That's in red. That's the number of vaccinations that was given in a week. So you see already, this is peculiar. When we have a change in that all-cause mortality, the upper graph, it seems that the lower graph also changes. So now let's actually look at these two vaccination campaigns. The left graph shows you the all-cause mortality. That's the gray line, and the blue line is actually the number of vaccinations that was given. Now, you don't have to be a mathematician to get really worried about this. And if you do the linear correlation, and you see that the more vaccinations that were given, the more people that died. The spring vaccination campaign was limited to people from 60 plus, years. So these figures, I can only present them from 65 years onwards because I do not have the data from 60 to 65. But the main message is clear. This was mainly Pfizer. I go one back. I want to go back. Am I going back? No, I'm not going back. Okay, just the numbers. Because read what the bottom line says. If you calculate how many people we talk about here, we talk here about 5,820 people that died during that vaccination campaign, so additionally. Now we go to the autumn campaign. Autumn campaign is a little bit different because there they used the bivalent vaccine, mainly Moderna. And on the autumn campaign, they said, okay, everybody can now, above the age of 12, can come for a vaccination. The left graph is again the all-cause mortality. It's the gray line. And the blue line is the number of vaccinations that was given. So again, you see as soon as they start vaccinating, we see immediately an increase in all-cause mortality. You see that the gray line has some points going up during weeks 48, 49. That's an influenza epidemic. The right graph shows you again the correlation, linear correlation, and from that you could conclude that in that wave of vaccination, again, 2,652 people have died. So what about correlation versus causality? Because they always say to me, well, Theo, this is only correlation, this is not causal. Okay, let me say something about this correlation. It is temporally associated. That means that as soon as they start vaccinating, you see this. Second, it's dose dependent. The more vaccinations that are given, the more people die. Third, it's repeatedly found. We find it in every vaccination campaign. What I've shown you are two vaccination campaigns, one in spring, summer, one in autumn, and so it's independent of season. A very important argument, I think, is that you cannot easily explain this by any other cause. I do not know what kind of other cause I have to imagine that can explain this result. Then it's described in different countries. This is not only our systems or something like that. You see it in France, you see it anywhere. And what is also very important, it is neglected by authorities. Because the thing left at the top left is the title from a paper in the British Medical Journal in May 2021, that is 2 years ago, where the Norwegian health authorities have published in the journal that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine is likely responsible for deaths of some elderly patients. That was already 2 years ago. That ended up in a periodic safety update report of Pfizer. We did not know of the existence of that report until only after a FOIA request. Then it was released. And I read aloud here, thanks for my optician for my glasses. On the 15th January, following fatal events involving elderly patients vaccinated with BNT162b2 in Norway, the Norwegian agency updated their guidance for vaccination, advising that caution and case-by-case judgment should be used when vaccinating frail elderly subjects. And this is published in July 2021. And we didn't know that. And the Dutch government, in 2022, did 2 of these vaccination campaigns, and I've shown you the results of that activity. So did I miss the conclusions? Yes, I think I missed the conclusion. Be careful going back. Anyway, I missed one slide. One slide is that, so the conclusion is actually that I think that these vaccines, this vaccine technology in general, has been rolled out much too early in the world. It's not finished, it's unsafe. We have more than enough data here. It is highly likely that all these people that died here, that they died because of vaccination. And I think, also given the fact that the older Omicron variants that we see now do not cause any harm, that there is no reason to keep these products on the market, and I would call for an immediate retraction of these vaccines.